Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man.
Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
Goodness. The real question isn't whether Michelle Obama is untouchable. It's how Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld dismantled her public image without even breaking a sweat. One moment, she's America's beloved book club queen, the next, she's ducking. Rogan's blunt jabs and Gutfeld's ruthless onliners like it's rhetorical dodgeball in the White House gym. They didn't just poke at her legacy, they shredded it and wrapped the remains in biting sarcasm. So what exactly did they expose? That left Michelle radio silent. Let's just say it's messier than the backlash to her school lunch program.
Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich.
Obama once tried to convince an entire generation that school lunches made of wilted spinach and quinoa mush were...
Michelle once tried to sell a generation on the idea that soggy spinach and quinoa slop were a culinary revolution, a food uprising led by limp kale and lentil paste. That's not a health initiative, it's a war crime against taste buds. And yet, there she was, wielding salad tongs like she was storming the beaches of Normandy armed with chickpeas.
President dies, everyone in the world shows up, and she doesn't break her vacation. It's not like she doesn't have access to a jet. Something is going on. Let's speculate.
Yes, please.
It's either surgery.
Oh.
That was my least controversial thing.
Depends what kind of surgery.
She will not sit close to the dictator. And by that, I don't mean Hillary, I mean Donald Trump. Or there's trouble in paradise between Barack and Michelle. I've heard things. I'm not going to substantiate that by repeating these rumors on national TV like I just did. But I'm just saying it's very odd that she's not.
Enter Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, the odd couple no one asked for, but apparently the only duo bold enough to say what everyone else whispers over kale smoothies. Michelle Obama's brand is a curated cocktail of Pinterest quotes, yoga pose hypocrisy, and TED Talk energy disguised as a legacy.
We have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all...
Let's be clear, this isn't about trashing a former first lady. It's about calling out the sanctimony of someone who somehow turned drink water into a moral commandment and a personality trait. You'd think she personally invented H2O. Meanwhile, the rest of us were just trying to stop our kids from trading celery sticks for cookies on the cafeteria black market.
Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs, and he likes men.
Greg Gutfeld, never one to miss a political buffet, could barely speak through the laughter as he highlighted the irony of Michelle preaching healthy living, while her parties looked like Whole Foods threw up on a White House platter. Sure, it was organic, but was it edible? You can only glam up beat hummus so much before someone calls 911.
Having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons and...
Then there's Joe Rogan, a man who built an empire by punching sacred cows square in the udder. Naturally, Michelle's polished public image made her the golden calf of smug progressivism. She flexes like a Marvel audition reel, then scolds everyone for enjoying pizza. Rogan didn't hold back. What's the calorie count on self-righteousness? And don't even get him started on her Netflix deals. Actually, let's get into it. Nothing says relatable like cashing multi-million-dollar production checks while filming yourself walking in slow motion through adoring crowds like Moses parting a sea of peasants. Gutfeld, the sarcastic goblin of late night, wasn't far behind. He shredded Michelle's soft focus branding where every speech is less about the message and more about the lighting. It's like a Tony Robbins seminar held in a Whole Foods parking lot. Inspirational, maybe. Practical only if monogrammed stationery and a Fitbit can solve your existential crisis.
Thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To make these choices clear to the men that we love, our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
And let's not forget that infamous line, when they go low, we go high. Possibly the most passive-aggressive slogan in political history. Translation, we're better than you, and we made a bumper sticker to prove it. Michelle's practically trademarked moral superiority, sold it in hardcover, and now narrates the audiobook in 5 languages. Meanwhile, Rogan's over here raising eyebrows like dumbbells, asking the questions nobody else will. How did we go from lettuce campaigns to deep spiritual treatises on finding our voice? Is there a map for that? Or do we just follow the scent of overpriced candles? Her image is so curated, it makes Barbie look like cinema verite. The yoga poses, the soft focus lighting, the perfectly timed spontaneous laughter, it's like watching a live motivational poster. Somewhere between live, laugh, love, and eat more kale. There's Michelle, smiling with the serene menace of someone silently judging your grocery cart.
Instagram, I believe. That Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Gutfeld had a field day with her transformation from First Lady to global brand ambassador of good vibes and vague empowerment. He practically sprained his neck, shaking his head at her LinkedIn-level mantras. Believe in yourself, she says, great, that'll cover the rent. What's next? Manifest your credit score. And don't even get him started on the fashion worship. Michelle wears a belt, and CNN declares it a geopolitical event. Entire think pieces have been written about a cardigan? A cardigan, you'd think. She crocheted peace treaties in the Lincoln bedroom. Then there's the memoir, a book so packed with journeys and truths, it might as well be a yoga mat. Every page reads like a TED Talk dipped in vague trauma and Instagram captions. It's less a memoir, more a lifestyle blog with a spine. Rogan read it, walked outside, touched grass, and rewatched Roadhouse just to feel like a man again.
They know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football.
Gutfeld had a field day with her transformation from First Lady to global brand ambassador of good vibes and vague empowerment. He practically sprained his neck, shaking his head at her LinkedIn-level mantras. Believe in yourself, she says, great, that'll cover the rent. What's next? Manifest your credit score? And don't even get him started on the fashion worship. Michelle wears a belt, and CNN declares it a geopolitical event. Entire think pieces have been written about a cardigan, you'd think. She crocheted peace treaties in the Lincoln bedroom. Then there's the memoir, a book so packed with journeys and truths, it might as well be a yoga mat. Every page reads like a TED Talk dipped in vague trauma and Instagram captions. It's less a memoir, more a lifestyle blog with a spine. Rogan read it, walked outside, touched grass, and rewatched Roadhouse just to feel like a man again.
Hopefully they can settle it like men.
Michelle Obama's real superpower, saying absolutely nothing while making it sound like a global revelation. Her speeches are word salads tossed with vague intention, sprinkled with buzzwords, and just enough croutons of meaning to fool people into thinking they're eating substance. Rogan quipped, "The real meal is probably backstage, served by someone named Skylar wearing a hemp apron and a passive-aggressive smile." Gutfeld had a blast dismantling the myth of Michelle as a unifier. She's less of a bridge and more of a velvet rope lighthouse that only shines for people who already agree with her. And don't bring up fitness. The woman has done more for lunges than the inventor of stairs. Exercise became a political movement under her rule. If you didn't want to plank while she glared from your TV, you were part of the obesity crisis. Somewhere, a donut cried itself to sleep. Rogan nailed the vibe. Michelle's inspiration is so aggressive, it's exhausting. She's like the human version of being forced into a book club you never signed up for. Every message is a teachable moment, even if all you wanted was a cheeseburger and 5 minutes of peace.
According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind, Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote. Remember that?
Yes, she has a podcast, because of course she does. Every episode is basically group therapy for people who've never been told no. It's a warm bath of pseudo-wisdom where the only lesson is that Michelle is once again more evolved than you. Rogan played clips and swore he could feel his bones aging from the secondhand condescension. Gutfeld tore into the Michelle Obama library a planned shrine where the only books will be hers, neatly arranged next to affirmation stones and essential oils. The entrance probably requires a detox smoothie and proof of emotional vulnerability. Michelle has perfected the art of being everywhere without being anywhere. Her presence is ambient. You don't find it, it finds you. She's the spiritual equivalent of jazz music at a farmer's market. Soothing, omnipresent, and sneakily manipulative. Rogan joked that if she released a perfume, it would smell like steamed broccoli and moral superiority with a hint of filtered authenticity. Gutfeld added it would come in a recycled globe-shaped bottle and only be sold to people enrolled in her 12-week wellness challenge, Becoming with burpees. And now, the whispers, the rumors, the political run. Because after lecturing the country on lunches, lunges, and living your truth, what's next? Running the whole thing, apparently. Gutfeld laughed so hard he nearly fell off his chair. Nothing says political outsider like 16 years in the most powerful rooms on earth.
I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Like, who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah. It's a
woman, probably, also.
It's a gay man.
So, what have we learned? Michelle Obama is the queen of curated struggle, the empress of empowerment buzzwords, and the first lady of filtered authenticity. And thanks to Rogan and Gutfeld, the Sheen has cracked not revealing a villain, but a highly skilled brand manager dressed as a motivational guru. She'll guilt you for not loving spinach enough. Then drop Still Becoming, the journey to journeying, 300 pages of salad anecdotes, sunrise metaphors, and a bonus recipe for a low-calorie dressing that tastes like guilt. $29.99 for the altitude when she goes high. Michelle didn't just rebrand. She franchised. She became the Oprah of broccoli, the Dalai Lama of dumbbells, the guru of doing the work even if that work is just filtering selfies and hashtagging resilience. Every appearance is a masterclass in PR, sculpted as precisely as those biceps the media can't stop drooling over. Yet the contradictions stack. She preaches simplicity while dining like a Michelin reviewer, champions humility while wrapped in designer labels, and calls for unity while profiting from division. Rogan said she speaks in TED Talk riddles about clouds. Gutfeld added she walks in a bubble of applause where criticism dies of oxygen loss. It's not commentary anymore, it's canonization. Michelle is a one-woman industry of soft-focus smugness, where every anecdote is polished, every hardship
his
conveniently
viral exchanges
relatable,
he has had during
and every
these hearings,
golden hour photo shoot screams moral high ground. If branding were an Olympic sport, Michelle would have 5 gold medals, a documentary about her journey, and a vegan protein bar line called Authenticity Bites. And yet, no. One's allowed to ask the one thing that really matters. What exactly are we clapping for?